Starting.
Oh,
go.
Okay, now we can go. Welcome, welcome. Today's Craft In. I am excited to invite you into my little corner of my living room. That's it. That's all you get to see because the laundry's all over the couch and everything else. No, I guess I should give some credit. They did fold it. It is going to get put away, so we're making progress on the laundry today. Anyways, how's everyone? Hopefully you're jumping on, say hi. We're just going to broadcast today, so we're missing that live music, so I'll give everyone a moment to just kind of jump on, let us know where you're joining from. And so in today's episode, you know, I was thinking of just sharing with you guys. I think I've shared this a little bit, but it's been a while, and I often get asked the questions, you know, what scrapbooking albums do you use? How do you organize your scrapbooks? And just different things like that. And a while back, I actually did this printable that I left in the other room. But basically, the link is up in there. I'm not going to stress too much about it. It is up, and you can go download it, but it's just the labels, the album labels. I did a really clean, simple one. Before, I used to do like handwriting, and then after a while, it just looked messy. And I kind of had this disorder, so I thought just to unify them all and have them all look the same and not overcomplicate that label, just kept it very clean and simple in the design of it. So of course, I did that for me personally, and then I wanted to share that with all of you guys. So that link for that free download is in the link above. So check it out, it's over on the blog. Okay, and then I always like to give a disclaimer when it comes to different albums and just, I mean, please share in the comments. I always think it's great for us to share each other's personal experiences or opinions, and I think, especially around albums, I've gone through a couple of them. And this one that I'm about to share with you is the one I've kind of landed on for multiple reasons for myself. So if you have other ones that you love or want to suggest and recommend, then definitely make sure to check them out. But for me, I'm going to share with you what I've used, why I've used it, and how I've come to it, because I really have tried out different albums over the course of 20 years. And as you can see, I've kind of just started to simplify even the process about what albums. I used to try different colors and just different things, and this one I've liked so far, all the above. All right, so let me start with that first. Actually, I have one still sitting here that needs to be filled, and so personally what I like is this We Are Memory album. It's a leather-bound album. They hold up well. The corners stay on. I've had other albums where these little metal corners that they put on there, they just pop off, you know, kind of thing. Actually, these ones that I have down here from the previous, I haven't ever updated these ones, but those corners pop off. That's just something I've noticed. So on this one, I've noticed it, they're really nice and secure. But ultimately, I've tried post-bound albums, different things, but I don't scrapbook in chronicle order, but I like my albums to be in chronicle order. So I like the ease that a 3-ring binder, in this case the D ring here, gives me, because then when I actually go to put an album or a finished scrapbook layout that I created away, you know, I'll go to the year, and then for me, this is easier than a post-bound. I can pull it apart, kind of go towards that time of the year, say it was in fall, and put it in that section of my album. I always enjoy, personally, my albums being in chronicle order. One, it's easier to find in events if I'm like, well, there's a couple reasons why that's handy. One, when I have to prove somebody wrong, what better proof? If it's not in the scrapbook, it didn't happen, right? So that has happened more than I can count. Where I'm like, no, really, we did that and my mind just calculates that way. 2005 or around 2006, like I can usually narrow it down to a time in the life, right? And then I find it. Also, it's fun when you go down memory lane. We should do it more often. I think there's something very, well, one, the act of creating it allows you to process different, because when you go into the flow state, your mind is able to go into subconscious and it's able to process whatever happened that day, whatever happened that week, any trauma, just any of those kind of things. It actually does help your mind process those things. I feel like that's the same thing as we reflect through different life lessons. Our memory sometimes forget the little details or forget the little moments. And so flipping through memory lane and kind of seeing that progression, I guess is the point that I'm trying to get to. It's also why I have the interest, or why I've fallen on that I like to keep my albums in chronicle order, because I like to go through the story timeline, basically, as I'm completing the story in a sense too. So not only do I get to relive memories, of course, when I'm creating the page and live in that space and time of season again for the few hour or two, depending on the project that I'm scrapbooking, but I also get to have access to these and future generations and all of the above. And I get to use them for my own personal, I told you so, I'm right, I'm always right, kind of thing. It's not in the scrapbook, it didn't happen, right? Okay, so going back to the albums, you guys. So that's kind of the key things that I have come to discover, why I personally have landed on a 3-ring binder. I've heard other people say, you know, for me, I prefer post-bound for XX and X because I like my layouts too. I think one of the best positives for post-bound is that if you create a 2-page spread, like it lays side by side, but for me that's never been like the top priority. Mostly all of these other perspectives that I shared with you are kind of the takeaway for me. Now with that said, I actually do have, they're sitting this way because this is proof. I finished these layouts and I didn't want to go back in and undo the post bound, and so they're sitting here for one day when I have extra energy to do that. I'll go back and do this. But this is my wedding album, and I had finished a couple more pages. I think I actually still have like, well, I put the kits together, and I think I have like 3 more layout kits with the different pictures that I still need to do for my wedding that I still haven't quite finished. So again, I don't scrapbook in chronicle order. I scrap off of my mood, my interest, those kind of things. So, okay. Any questions, Madison?
Yes. Deborah Johnson asks, did you do baby books for your children separate from family chronological order?
Good question. I actually do get asked that a lot. So they're not here. These are all the family books. I have the kids, well, I would say the kids' first year for sure, 2 years probably is what I did, and I am beyond those. So yay. Mm-hmm. Because I've been with Kiwi Lane from the beginning, of course, that's really helped speed up. I'm nice not to have those behind. Like if you talk to Debbie, on the other hand, she was scrapbooking, or she had all those pictures from her childhood. Most of my kids grew up inside of the lifespan of Kiwi thus far, so I've been able to manage that in that mix. But because the process has simplified it and all the above. Okay, so to answer your question, I do the first 2 years, and I do like special spotlighted moments. So if it's one that's kind of something that focuses on them, like so for example, first walk, first lake, all those first.
First taste of ice cream.
Right, whatever that is that I documented or happen to document. In that case, their baby blessings, like those things. Now the baby blessing is a good one to kind of share. My process was, I did do one for them because that was a special moment in their life, but I also did one for my family albums as well. Their birthday, I did that one. I would do a version for them, sometimes a 1-pager actually for their like little thing, and I would do a 2-page version. So sometimes if I had those extra pictures, I would do a quick 1-pager and put it into their personal albums. I do that still occasionally on other events. If I happen to have extra 2 or 3 pictures that were maybe similar to something else that I already put on the project that I was working on, then I'll do some for their versions. Otherwise, after that baby version type deal, a lot of it went into my scrapbooks, family scrapbooks. And I thought about this a couple times. I'm like, well, when I pass away, they can fight over who gets what pages. I guess they'll have to figure that out, because for me, these are mine. Mm-hmm. These are mine, and they're not going anywhere. I do value just some of those baby pictures, moments and things. I want them to be able to take them with them, not have to wait till I pass away, kind of thing. But I want their children to come back to my home and to be able to experience these instead of just handing them off to them and letting them go with them. Plus, who knows what memory lane I'm going to need to go down when I become sad. Because we all do that. That's
empty nesting.
They have to grow up and they have to leave. Along with that, past the baby phases, again, I do key moments. So like their birthdays go into their albums. So they're always kind of getting this repeat once a year added addition. So graduation is a good point, or a recital, like something special that was like kind of that milestone or key moment or something like that. Then I would always make sure to plan either to print extra pictures so that I could do mine, and then do one if it was related to Madison for her book, or if it was related to Eli, his book, kind of thing. So hopefully that answers that in a nutshell. Any other questions?
I haven't seen any come through. If you have any questions.
So that's just my process that I landed on, and like I said, with the kids, yeah, these are mine. They're mine. And in such, that's also why I've had seasons of my life thus far where I've had to have these in a closet, like a coat closet, or like I've had them at one point, like it just depends around the house, because that's the other key thing, right? Where to put these and store them. For me, I got lucky. I found this, and in the future, I hope to maybe get a carpenter to create me one and maybe spec it out and tell them exactly what I want, because these middle ones don't fit 12 inches, so that's why they're laying side over on 12. And then also the variable is that they do get heavy, so I need them to really build me something that has like a brace in the middle to hold the weight of these. This shelf is fine because it has a thick base, and of course the bottom shelf, because it's the bottom, it's fine too. But this one, I actually intentionally only put half because I didn't want it to get too heavy. But a lot of people ask me about the shelf too. I think my ultimate vision of where I'd love to store them is I would always love to store them for me in some kind of family room. I want them to be out, I want them to be seen, I want people to have access to them and to enjoy, and my expression of those events and that vision, that outlook I have as I created those memories, or created those layouts with the memories that we created together. So anyways, and so then so they're all up here at a certain point. Like I said, I didn't go all the way back, and this, I guess I should also know, only has, maybe in the future I'll get to the project of pulling out like David's baby book, which, by the way, that's a good example, which it's not Debbie's fault, but she definitely didn't do a baby book for David. So my kids will, you better appreciate it, Madison. She just handed me the pictures of David's baby, which I'll take them.
Your project now.
Took some pictures, right? I have some that are in a little book that my mom made, and I would love to get those out here in this collection of them too. But so far, this is just from the time that we started our family, which is 2001. And then again, Chronicle, whatever, I don't scrapbook and Chronicle, so they're piecing together slowly and surely. But I guess my point is that along the line, I just decided I tried, like a variation of colors and just different things, but then I was kind of changing my house. And then that's when I was like, no, I'm just gonna go neutral, and then hopefully they'll never outdate or whatever, right? They'll never or I'll never outgrow them,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, or whatever. I don't know which way you want to look at it, but along with that, I haven't quite updated these ones. So in that printable that I put in the link, there might be, if you're one that likes to do more like all your travels together, I started that way, but personally I think I'm going to even backtrack and like put these back in, because I don't really keep them all in here, or like, I'm trying to remember what that printable also had, like family history. I actually do love having this one. Let me pull it out. So this one is not technically, it's all not necessarily in the years, because it's more ancestry, like pictures of my great grandma, my grandma, you know, my mother, like really featuring them, and again, when I have a moment and I kind of go through them, but they're priceless. I appreciate and love all of these layouts, of course, and treasure them, but when I find just different ones, so I even have some of like, oh, that's me!
It's you!
I found
You
that.
look exactly like Lacey. Or Lacey looks exactly like
Yeah,
you.
she looks exactly like me. This is my grandma and her gang of friends and just different things, right? So I do have this one. This is my grandpa, who I never met. Anyways, he passed away before. Anyways, this was a fun one. I did wedding pictures all the way back to 2 generations. So that's my mom, my dad, David's mom and dad, me and David, and then the parents of my parents and the parents of, anyways, yeah, so anyways, so that's another insight into that. And then I do, back when we hit our 10-year anniversary, this was a crazy project.
Kiwi
I actually wrote
Lane.
about it,
That's actually one of my favorites.
and I did the journey of Kiwi Lane thus far, and I kept those all together, and so that I could see that progress, and growth, and chronicle order, and all the above. Good times, good times. So I do have those two related outside of just a year, a date of year. So, other than that, what other things was I going to share with you guys? So that's the album.
You got all these mini albums back here too. From
Yeah,
those are
that's
older.
right.
Those are older though.
Yeah, that's when like it was a big fad, I think, right? Like, they're super still fun to do, but I remember doing a lot of these. Like, this was all before Kiwi, of course. Oh,
Yeah.
That's like pure labor of love. We don't want to go through those. Nothing that was bad, but just
Yeah.
the face on, well, let's just say my face expressed it all.
I mean, you were going through labor.
Anyways, oh, I was going to share this one other thing. So for me, my finished layouts, because when I finish a layout doesn't mean that I'm like in the mood to go put it into the album and like get them organized. So for me, what I've settled on in my process is that I keep these little containers, and I was just telling Madison, I'm like, you know what we're doing for this holiday weekend?
Oh my gosh. You know what we're doing for the 4th of July? Organizing all of these. This isn't the only one.
What better way, you know?
There's
no, this isn't the only one.
there's like 4.
Guys, I've done this like just, I mean. I guess
You've
it's
done
been
a lot of
while.
scrapbooking lately.
No, I'm saying like it's been a while since I've done the purge, and so when I say
Yeah.
it's like
The purge.
I collect to finish layouts, I don't do them right away. I put them in these little buckets. I actually keep. So she's right. I do have a few.
No,
And
these
then-
aren't even the only ones. There's the 3 of these, which
Yeah.
are packed full, and then you've got 2 more in your craft
And
room.
then I'll select a day. Half the time I'll have to make sure that I have enough page protectors, and just different things. I still have 2 albums that I can feel, so I think they'll be extending beyond. Well, I don't have 2001 up here yet, so I definitely need to do that. And anyways, point is that then I'll pull down the album, put them away. But usually it's easier for me to do what word am I thinking? I block out a time frame, right? Just to do that instead of doing it here and there. It's easier for me just to block out a time frame and be like, okay, for the next 2 hours, I'm just gonna put finished layouts away. So, but I'll be honest, a lot of these finished layouts are ones from the monthly Kiwi Club kits.
Yeah.
I am getting that monthly Kiwi Club every month. Not only does it help me to schedule in the time for me to create and to do something I love, to allow me to have that flow state and the processing and all of that stuff that the act of creating does for you, and that I enjoy, but also just, yeah, it is just a motivation to, so sometimes what I scrapbook is based off of that. I'm like, oh, this kit, what pictures from the last, whatever, 6, 7 years, whatever that might be, do I have? So that's kind of what's keeping these collection adding to it. So I definitely need to block out some time here soon to kind of do a purge of putting these away, but it's kind of fun. Yeah, super fun. So I didn't notice that I had 3 buckets full.
3 buckets. I'm in here more than she's in here.
I think 4 buckets. I think I have one more in there. I have 4 buckets.
You have 2 buckets. You have 2 buckets sitting in your thing in there.
Oh, so that means I have 5
You have
buckets
5 full buckets.
that need to be put away.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be done in a day.
I'm not kidding. We just did this, what, like a year-ish ago?
I don't know.
What was in the other house?
I can't remember.
So that means those
I
4
probably blocked
buckets
it out. It was so
are from
traumatic.
Last, I don't know. We'll just say a year and a half. I don't know. So awesome. But okay, well, if you guys don't have any other questions, that's kind of my overall thoughts that I have to share with you as far as what scrapbooking albums that I use, why I use them, how do I organize them, and overall my process for the finished layouts into the albums, because I think sometimes we forget that step, and clearly it's there, but it's an organized chaos, and that is the key. And I know that I'll get to it, so I just need to block out that time frame. Madison, come on, this weekend. Like, work with me here.
This sounds like your problem.
One day you're gonna leave me.
I can't hold your hand for Mom. You gotta spread your own wings. I gotta let you do your thing.
I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you in the community. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.